Hey, this is Tanisha, and this week we are doing something different. We're taking a break on Abstract Challenge, and I'm actually going to walk you through some small abstract paintings using my process of making paintings. So this is me actually just showing you my process for a small abstract painting. Right here on the screen are two abstract pieces that I've worked on. It's just some different sizes here, but I'm working with three colors, which I'm going to show you in the next screen. And then, so basically I'm going to show you me working on the third piece in this collection. And I'm working with Amsterdam Light Rose, Naples Yellow Red, and Cyan, probably saying that wrong. And so these are the colors that I'm working with. I look forward to sharing with you some of the process that I go through when I'm making abstract paintings. And this is a bit different from the challenges. This is me actually working on a more, where I'm going to work towards a complete painting. So by the end of this video, it's going to be at a good place, but I'm not technically done yet. But you'll get to see some of the process that I go through. So here, a lot of times I like to start with mark making, same thing that I would do with the abstract challenge. One thing that I notice is on different surfaces, the mark making acts differently. So if I do mark making on hardwood, the pen marks or different Posca pen marks, they seem to dry and stay put. But I notice when I work on canvas or other substrates, I guess you could say, I can say up front, I may not have been enough patient for it to dry. So I find that they bleed. So on this surface in particular, Posca pens, which would usually dry and not move, they actually bleed. Even no matter what I do, I've blow dried it and everything, it still moves. Now maybe if I let it sit for a few days, that'd be a different story, but I was a little bit impatient. So just know that your mark making tools may work differently on different materials that you're using. And so in this case, I was okay with the bleeding because this is the first layer and I'm not going to stop here on the first layer. So it was okay that it was doing a bit of bleeding. So the goal is, what I'm going to do is I end up deciding to put some gesso on so that I can not worry about, maybe minimize the bleeding, let's put it that way. So sometimes I do, let's say a lot of times I love to write some words in my paintings, usually pretty much all positive. So that's what I'm doing here. Even though I know it's getting covered up, I know it's there. I always want to spread positivity into the world, love into the world. And so that's basically what I put. I just put something positive. So as you can see, I'm putting this gesso on not the gesso, I'm putting on a matte medium, and it is bleeding a lot, and that's okay. This was a really this is me also doing some tests. So I do test things when I'm making art. I think everything is about playing, so I always start out playing, and that's what this is. So after this, I let it dry, and I went ahead and put some gesso on because it's still bleeding a lot. So that's something you'll see here in a minute. So in initial layers, I just love to have a lot of fun, putting in colors that they may not necessarily be exact colors that I'm using or paint colors I'm using. So I use my NeoColors. I love these crayons. They're really fun. You can wet them, and I just love how they move and just how you can blend colors together. I've noticed that I really love to blend colors together, so this is a lot of fun for me. And so I pretty much go through and put a lot of different colors here. But as you can see, as I'm putting this on, the black Posca pen isn't moving as much as it was before I put the gesso on. So this is a really good example for you to see that some surfaces you really have to put gesso on to minimize the movement. Now I did have some movement of the Posca pen, but it was greatly minimized as opposed to when I initially was using the Posca pen. Alright, so now I'm pretty much done with this layer, so I'm going to put on some matte medium to again reinforce minimizing that black getting over everything, because the black pen really does change your paint colors and I didn't want it to do that. So as you'll see, I'm putting on some matte medium and I will have a little bit of bleeding, but that's okay because as soon as that dries, I'm not going to have the issue there. See, there's some bleeding right there. But I thought it looked pretty cool. And I know that for the most part, this is not going to show at the end anyway. So it was fun. I think this is so pretty, and I may play with these Neo crayons, Karen Dosh, I think, Neo crayons a bit more, and see what I can do with them, because I really love the effects that they give, and it was just so much fun to work with. right, so right here I'm starting to put in a pop of color, that Naples color, which I think looks so pretty. It's not a color that I typically use, but I don't seem to have a problem adding in some colors that I don't use, but they're usually with colors that I love. So like blue and pink are my favorite. So adding in this color, it's okay because it's not by itself. And actually it is considered a Naples red, yellow red. So I do like red. So I guess it kind of falls in line with what I love. But anyways, so as you can see, I added some texture with my texture tool, and I'm just going in right now randomly painting. I don't have a plan in place. I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just playing around here, seeing where I want to go. A lot of times during initial painting, I'm not trying to think about what I want to do, not up front. Once I get to a place where I feel like, okay, it's time to really think through this, then I'll slow down and take a little bit of time to think through, what I want to keep, what do I want to get rid of, is this too dark, is it too light? There's just so many things to think about. And do I have a balance? So there's so many things. But actually, to be honest with you, I have a lot of fun just playing with art and not thinking about all that, just making art. I feel like there's something powerful about just being intuitive. And honestly, if you learn the basis of abstract painting, I think it's just in you to get a more balanced painting. Now, I won't say that's as much so for the arts abstract challenges because I'm actually timing myself in those. So I'm not really giving myself enough time to even, to think even, which is good, which is kind of what I'm talking about. But I feel like a little more time might be necessary to get something together that's more complete. But in any case, I absolutely love the idea of just making art and not thinking about all the rules. And that's something I'm going to be working on a lot here in the future. Because with this painting, as we move towards where we end in this video, at some point I did start to think a little bit more. I slowed down. I was exploring what I liked, what I didn't like, making some changes. So I allowed myself to really take that moment and think. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think abstract painting is all about finding what works for you. What's your process? The way I do it is maybe not the way you'll do it. And that's okay. We are all unique. We all have to go through this journey of figuring out what works for us. But I think we can all learn something valuable from each other. You may take some pieces from me and some pieces from some other folks, and then you put it together and it becomes your own unique piece. So, this has been a lot of fun. I'm really loving these colors, and I love what's happening so far. So right around here is where I'm starting to let myself think a little bit. I know I'm not at the end of this because this is not 100% where I want to be, but I know I'm starting to think more of, do I have enough dark? Do I have some lights? Making sure that I have a variation in those blues. And so as the painting goes forward, you're going to see that this blue section at the bottom will get darker because I wanted to have something dark in here, and that's where I decided to go with it for now. But again, remember, this is a work in progress. So this piece is still a work in progress and it may change the next time you see it, even after when you see the end where I left off. But I'm loving the colors. It's really beautiful to me, and I like how the first two that I showed at the beginning, the first two pieces using the same colors, they look totally different. You can take these colors and make totally different paintings, and that's what I love about abstract art. I mean, you can make so many different paintings with the same colors and it not look the same. So yeah, I hope if you are an abstract artist, I hope you are exploring the use of the same colors and using them different ways in your artwork. And honestly, I really don't think we can get our paintings 100% the same way, because even though I know I can remix the colors, sometimes it takes a lot of work to get the exact same color, because just by adding a little white, you can change the color a little bit, and it's hard. It's usually best to mix enough to get through what you think you need versus trying to mix it again and get the specific color. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard to ever get this same exact look, or at least the different colors that I have going on exactly the same way. So at this point, I decided to start doing some mark making. Even though I'm not technically done with this yet, I just thought I'd start playing with my mark making tools, which I love doing mark making. So I was excited to get in there. But I do run into problems sometimes with the mark making over paint. So that's something I'll definitely talk about in a different video. But right now, I'm just in a phase of slowing down, thinking. It's just exploring, I guess we can call it, trying to determine where I want to go next. And as you can see, the blue part of the painting has gotten darker, which is good because I have to determine, is that where I want your eye to go? That may be the case, that may not be the case. So we'll see, and once I determine I'm at the end of this. But right now, I'm still got a lot of work to do on this painting. We'll see where it goes. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. This is a bit longer than the ones I typically put out, but I have had some requests to show the entire process. And since this is sort of part of my abstract process, not the abstract challenge, but my abstract process, I thought I would just allow this to be a bit of a longer video. I really hope you find it helpful. Please definitely let me know in the comments what you think. I would love if you subscribe if you're not subscribed, and press the like button if you like what you're seeing. If you stay to the end, I'm actually going to show you just a scan copy of where this painting is right now. And again, we may see a part 2 on this because I know I'm not 100% done, but we'll see what happens with that. But for now, I really hope you enjoyed seeing my process outside of an abstract challenge. I really had fun sharing it with you, and I definitely will be doing more of these, even on a more larger scale with larger canvas. And yeah, so anyways, I look forward to hearing from you, and I will be talking to you again next week.